Best Irish music on irishradio.org with Jerry Byrne.
Irish Radio it is, I'm Jerry Byrne. My next guest on the programme is a guest for the second time. I spoke to him back in March of 2021, hard to believe that's over 2 years ago, about a production he was doing. And I'm delighted to speak to him again. He's a renowned actor, and he's actually starring in an interesting play. It's called Mac Swiney. Now, it's all about Terence Mac Swiney, who died on hunger strike back on the 25th of October 1920. And it's a play that was actually written and directed by the late John Donne. Now I'm speaking to one of the stars of the play, Derek Murphy. Derek, hello to you. Great to have you back.
Hey, Jerry. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Real pleasure, Derek. Real pleasure. And listen, tell us more about this this play. It was written by the late John Donne.
Yes, unfortunately. So we're coming up to the 1 year anniversary of his passing. John passed away around August of last year. And in 2020, he wrote a play called Mac Swiney, and it was all based on the story of Terence Mac Swiney and his hunger strike and passing away in Brixton's prison for the 100th anniversary of his passing. And due to COVID, unfortunately, it didn't actually go ahead in 2020, but it did go ahead in 2021 in a couple of different theatres in London. And as sort of a memorial to him this year, we are doing a rehearsed reading of the play on the 27th of July in the Irish Cultural Centre here in London in Hammersmith. So the original cast is coming back together again to do a rehearsed reading in his memory.
Lovely. Now, it sounds excellent. The others aren't, as well as yourself, there's Raymond Nolan, Gillian Horgan and Alex Harland.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So it was the four of us originated the roles back in 2021, and we were very lucky that we were able to get everyone back again for this because it's nice. Obviously, unfortunately, John did pass away last year, so it's nice for the rest of us to come back and remember him.
Indeed. So now, can you give us sort of any gist about not doing spoilers on it or anything else, but basically, what is the play about?
So, I mean, it's called Mac Swiney, and it's about, if anyone's into that Irish history, I'm sure a lot of people know about Terence Mac Swiney. He was the Lord Mayor of Cork over 100 years ago. He was arrested by the English and actually imprisoned in Brixton Prison here in London. And he went on a hunger strike to protest his arrest and the arrest of several other prominent Irish politicians. And he stayed on hunger strike for, quite a long time. I think it was 70 odd days. But unfortunately, he did die in Brixton Prison. But the play tells the story of not only him, but his wife, Muriel, and then actually Tomás as well, who was also a Lord Mayor of Cork, who was actually killed in Cork around the same time, I think about the year previous. So the history buffs out there, I think, would find it very interesting. And as I said, it was written for the 100th anniversary of Terence Mac Swiney's passing in 2020. So it's, I was about to say relatively recent, but his anniversary was relatively recent, but the events were obviously over 100 years ago.
Indeed, and in history, I think in Irish history, definitely most people will know of the name, Terence Mac Swiney, and indeed also Tomás McCurtain. Indeed, they became two huge names symbolising resistance at the time.
Correct. Yeah, so I mean, it is really interesting. I mean, actually, even if you were completely unaware and unfamiliar with any of it, it actually is a really, really interesting story. So if you're just coming in from scratch, it's definitely worth catching as well, because it really is an interesting insight into our history, British history, and just to see a small part of what went on. And especially dramatized on stage. This obviously will be a rehearsed reading, so it's kind of a script in hand thing. But what's lovely about that is that the play itself gets a lot of focus, and the story itself gets a lot of focus. So it is well worth catching if you can. So as I said, do come along. It's the Irish Cultural Centre on the 27th of July here in London and Hammersmith.
Right, and how can people get tickets, or is it just tickets on the door on the night?
Yeah, I mean, you can get tickets on the door on the night, but you can also pre-book on the Irish Cultural Centre's website. So it's ICC. So tickets are available now. I think it is selling fairly well, thank God. So I'd suggest booking sooner rather than later. But it's definitely worth catching. And do come along. I'll be there. We'll have chats afterwards. We'll go for a drink in the bar.
Great stuff, great stuff. Derek, listen, good luck with it all. And it's lovely to catch up with you again. And listen, stay safe and well. Glad to hear you back on stage.
Thanks a million. Thanks for having me. And hopefully we'll see each other in person sometime soon.